What's up guys, DukeSloth here, and today we're doing a patch notes review. And usually a patch notes review is, kind of a happy occurrence where we talk about good changes to the game for the most part, question some of them, and then move on. Today things are going to be a little bit different because there are some questionable choices made in this patch. Let's start. First of all, we've got some skin changes as usual. We've got that Zenko Red Tusker and the Final Fusion Red Tusker. If you haven't heard about them by now, you're living under a rock, whatever. We have Revenant Achilles. I can open that picture really quick. You probably haven't seen that yet. Oh, wow, that's so big you can't even properly see it. Oh, that's some great formatting right there, Iris. All right, this is Revenant Achilles in very, very large. Maybe we can get him in a little bit smaller. Let's try that again. Okay, we get him in scrolled down version or in zoomed in. Whatever, you can tell what he looks like. We have Base Cannon Neath, Beaky Chibi, Pixel Blast Canonos, and Sylvan Sentinel, which we can all see in very weirdly zoomed in angles right here. So we'll go through that. Usually that would be set up properly. I don't know. The website is apparently messed up. What's new? We'll just deal with it and scroll through them like this. And that's the last one here. So this one is a Huyi skin. The other ones should be obvious. Canonos, Chibi, Thoth, and Neath. Now the first question here is, why does Neath need another skin? She's got a million fucking skins out there. Who out there asked for a Neath skin? Like, raise your hand, you're guilty, you're under arrest for being a filthy Neath main. Because, honestly, like, where's the Shangqi skin? Where is it? Well, give me a Chibi Shangqi for all I care, but just... I thought this was like a Nox skin, which would have been decent, but nope, it's a Neath skin. Yeah, no, and Kronos absolutely needs more skins as well. Like, so old, he's got like no skins, This one looks kind of cool, yeah, whatever. Moving on. SMITE Birthday event, 900 gem bundle, 25% off day one. Base Cannon Neath, Revenant Achilles, which is this like dark dude. And Enigma Chest, EDM music theme, Smite Birthday loading frame, and birthday present. I don't know if the birthday present is like a... I don't even know. I didn't watch the patch note this time because I didn't care enough for all these cosmetics. It's something, I don't know. Quest to unlock awesome chest using the birthday present from the bundle. So an awesome chest as well. So a lot of chests. Great. So we get random shit, plus a Neath skin, show on one head, plus an Achilles skin, which means more people are going to play Achilles because that's not a pain in the ass already. Lovely. Next one. Achievements for Achilles, so more people play him, and Ratatoska Final Fusion Collection Achievement. Wow, achievement for farming skins. Alright, or spending gems on that. Alright, okay, cool. Whatever. And then we got some emotes for the Neath skin, for the Kanuno skin, loading frame, music theme, EDM theme apparently, Pixel Buster in Fountain. I don't even know, like Pixel Chest bundle inside the Pixel Chest. What? So if you have Freya Pixel Buster, you don't get that or whatever? I don't know. Global emote for Pixel Buster, same thing. And then the blah 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 Tusker again. And that brings us to balance changes already. Let's go. Blink, yeah, cooldown increase from 100 to 120 because apparently that was the strongest relic. Fair enough. I'm okay with that. Blink was used a lot. Certain gods made very good use of it. 20-second cooldown increase on both versions. It's not going to kill the item. It's going to make it a bit more situational, conditional, specific. Next one, Chalice of the Oracle. In patch 5.1, Chalice of the Oracle was buffed. The Season 5 Conquest map is larger and a few paths are harder to ward, and we wanted to mitigate the effect by giving players more access to wards. This change definitely led to more uses of the item, but it also led to some extreme negatives, especially in higher ranked matches. Too much safety. The average player might not experience this, but it's very impactful at pro level. In the finals of the SML, we saw as many as 9 or 10 gods carrying Chalice of the Oracle in the early game. This creates too much map safety and strongly dissuades players from ganking and fighting each other. We want to make sure pro games stay action-packed and that map vision has a reasonable trade-off, so the challenge change is being reverted. I know it was built in competitive by literally everyone, pretty much. I'm aware. It's not a problem. Like, everyone builds starter items too. Everyone builds boots too. On a non-competitive level, this meant, for the first time, that at least some people with a little bit of brain started warding more. They picked up the Chalice, and even though they forgot to ward half the time, like I do, anyways, but they at least had a Chalice of the Oracle because it wasn't too expensive, and they would ward like throughout the game a little bit here and there, throw one over a wall to scout out things and everything. Nope, now it's not worth it anymore. Great, now we're back to Season 4, where the only ones who can consider buying it are supports, and even that's debatable if it's actually worth it. Why? Like, at least make it 350 or something. It's just... I was so happy that some people were actually warding. I was so happy that warding was more of a thing, and didn't came with as much of a downtrade. In other games, you get a warding thing for free for the entire game. Like, what? Yeah, no, let's not use the mechanics that are useful in Conquest. You know, let's just make it as... Let's not put any incentives on that. None at all. Let's just, you know, let the people that want to ward suffer for their team. Because that's a good idea. And that makes the game more fun. Golden of Thieves now stacks 5 stacks from a god kill or assist. Good, because otherwise it's just a Resident Sleeper stacking thing. So that's nice. Emerald Talisman increased price from 1,200 to 1,400 gold. Decreased passive from 0.25% of your HP to 0.2. Update description, be precise when their health was restored. So this goes in hand with the Stone of Gaia buff. We can also talk about that one. Stone of Gaia sustain is highly valued in Season 5. Gods who built into this become very difficult to kill, allowing them to take a large amount of damage and regenerate it back in time for the next fight. The early health spike also makes gods very difficult to kill. We are increasing the cost as well as decreasing the amount of sustain provided from this item to tone these strength down. Emerald Talisman is seeing a similar treatment, and in case of Stone of Gaia, that's 150 gold extra, 2,250 gold now, and the passive healing is decreased from 0.4% to 0.3%. The interesting question here is it worth just building Emerald Talisman Tier 2? It's still 1,400 gold, so, you know, but you are not spending the last 650 for an extra 1% when you already have, like, yeah, 1%. When you already have the 2%, or 0.2%. So it actually could be that you just build Emerald Talisman and then just build the defense and solo lane. I think Stone of Gaia is great. I think it's completely overrated in support because people rush it for some reason and it's just not making sense. But for solo, it's a very strong item, and I definitely think it needed nerfs. And I think these nerfs are going in the right direction. They could just push Emerald Talisman too much by accident. We'll see. One of the more reasonable changes. Next one, Heartseeker. Assassins have a strong amount of build diversity, but... What? They have 2 trees. They have the Katana tree and the Crusher tree, unless they attack speed assassins. Like, where's the diversity, please? But one of the items seems to be prevalent in most of them. Heartseeker provides a strong early game stats, power of movement speed and penetration, with a passive that scales for the rest of the game, making it a prime build option. We're tuning down the scaling potential to rein its power level back in and reduce some frustration that occurs when fighting against this item. Decrease passive bonus damage trigger from 100% of your physical power to 80% of your physical power. Yeah, I don't really think that assassins are the ones that need nerfs to that kind of item right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not even that many high-performing assassins at this point. Like, they're good, but most of them aren't, like, insane. There's a few outlier cases, like Nemesis, target them specifically. You need to nerf Heartseeker for that, when Heartseeker was fine in, like, ever since, you know... I see where the benefit is, but it's partially because it also has movement speed, which is just more important now for a jungler to get around. And the other stats are nice, and they work very well with certain high power items, but the problem in that is usually not Heartseeker. It's more things like Transcendence having 10% cooldown reduction, but let's nerf a, you know, standard item, you know. This is just, people are just gonna build Crusher instead and not care. But sure, yeah, Assassins could, oh god, Assassins in higher tiers, oh no, so unfair. I quit the game. Help, please. Better nerf. Royal Tahuti. Passives that deal damage should always activate item effects. Royal Tahuti was not following this rule and now will. Additionally, due to the loss of Royal Tahuti's power spike in 5.1 and some recent nerfs to mage utility items, we are adding some magical power to a series of purely offensive mage items. So Royal Tahuti gets a not buff, but other items get a buff, and that's apparently considered a Royal Tahuti buff. But yeah, fix an issue where the bonus scaling wouldn't apply to passive abilities. Now it does, right? So, you know, if your passive doesn't damage it, it will scale up too. Cool. Yeah, not going to change much for most cards, I'm pretty sure. Doom Orb. Since 5.1, we've been fine-tuning mage builds to ensure a diversity between early, mid, and late game mages, whether or not they focus on damage of utility. Damage of utility, sure. Utility and defense items were brought down last patch. And in this patch, we are looking to bring up offensive choices. Doom Orb is focused as an early bridge item for a power spike of power, but it was not bringing enough to the table to make it attractive to build rather than stacking items. A bonus to the magical power it provides should make this a more compelling choice. Again, this mostly helps mage junglers. This mostly helps like Aokwang, Habwa. I do agree that it was often a bit underwhelming compared to like more power-oriented, more pen-oriented choices. I don't think 10 power will change that. It's going to be interesting. I'm still waiting for mid-range to pick it up. I think it's a decent item and it has its perks, but with how mages are being played currently, it's like stacking into just insane amounts of power and compensating for the loss of Rose to Hootie, so to speak. There's not that much room for Doom Orb. We'll see. Soul Reaver. This one is insane. Soul Reaver is a strong offensive option, but the cost and the amount of power it brought without Rod of Tahuti augmenting it anymore were underwhelming. We're bringing down the cost and increasing the magical power to allow offensive mages to bring this into their builds. So it's also like 2,750 gold to 2,650 gold. You can build it earlier. Increase magical power from 120 to 130. So similar to Doom Orb, this gets a 10 power increase, but also gets a cost decrease at the same time. And keep in mind that a similar item, like function-wise, something that amplifies one ability heavily, on the assassin side of things, was nerfed in this very patch. Heartseeker was nerfed, but Soul Reaver gets a buff because mages need more power. They need more power. The poor mages, they're suffering so much at the moment, man. Like, you've seen all these mages dying all the time. Just need to help the mages. Just give them more power. Come on. Put an extra 50 power on Rod of Tahuti as well while you at it. Enchanted Ring, we're talking about power. Building into the ring tree felt was too difficult because of this low power tier 2 item. This encouraged guards from opting into this tree. Enchanted Ring is getting a magical power bump to help this. Increase magical power from 30 to 45. Yeah, sure. 15 power. 15 power on a tier 2 item. No, that on a tier 2 item. And we're moving on, because mages don't have enough power. We need more power. Shaman's Ring. Shaman's Ring is seeing a slight shift. We are moving it towards a luxury item and giving it power to match. Shaman's Ring, when finished, will pack a much harder punch and better fit into completed mage build. Increase the cost from 2,300 to 2,400. Very, very relevant for a late game item. 100 gold. If you're building it as a late game item. Increase magical power from 800, from 80 to make it 800, from 80 to 100. Okay, so anyone who's building two movement speed items now, like two rings as a mage, which you obviously can if you want to, it's gonna have Shaman's Ring as an option with 100 power. Like, why would you build boots? Why would you build boots? Or keep boots in late game rather when you can have Shaman's Ring and another movement speed item. Like, it's so much damage. Amplifies everything. Pretty much should even work in combination with Soul or Soul Gem now. 100 power. It's worth building. It's a high power item now. 100 power and it amplifies your power. Like, amplifies your damage. And then you get more damage on top of your damage. So you can deal damage while you damage. I don't know if they work together, but if they do, then it's going to be fun. And then we have Telekind's Ring. Telekind's Ring goal was to provide a higher power steroid for late game magical carries at cost and passive, limited how useful this could be, often encouraging these magical carries to just rush power over building this item. We are reducing the cost and increasing the passive to make this more attractive for magical carries. Decrease cost from 2,800 to 2,700. Increase passive bonus damage on basic attacks from 10 plus 5% of your magical power to 10 plus 8% of your magical power. I can actually kind of agree with that. Telekind's Ring still felt kind of meh. There's barely any gods that can really make use of it. I don't see Slaney said this, I don't see why you would build Telekind's Ring when Polynomicon is a thing, There are certain benefits to it in terms of the stats and everything, so out of all the items, the one I can understand the most is Telekind's. Even though this could be a drastic sweep on certain gods, it just didn't really do that much. And that brings us to God balance. Achilles is getting nerfs, guys. Achilles is completely, everything's fine now. Achilles is getting nerfs. Achilles sure has stolen the spotlight since his launch. Through the combination of his crowd control, mobility, and damage, he's able to answer nearly any situation. He is intended to be a powerful flex pick, excelling at... How is a flex pick supposed... listen to the sentence, right? He's intended to be a powerful flex pick, excelling at both warrior and assassin strength, depending on your playstyle. How is a flex pick supposed to excel at both? Yeah. But he shouldn't always have an answer. Ring ring, hello, it's Achilles. Shield of Achilles base damage and stun duration are being reduced. Players who enjoyed hitting hard with this skill can still opt into a more offensive build due to its scaling, but will sacrifice survivability in doing so. Combat dodge is also seeing a cooldown increase, lowering its overall damage potential over the course of the game and giving opponent more windows of opportunity to catch him out. So let's look at these glorious nerfs. Shield of Achilles damage nerfed from 100 to 340 to 80 to 300. Decreased stun duration from 1 to 1.5 to 1 at all ranks. Stun duration, good. Shield, same scaling, 40 base damage off, and same cone size, with the same range and the same 80% reduction if you just get hit by the very edge of it. Give this ability the gap mechanic from his 2 like it's supposed to be, like it's logical. Other than that, it might be fine now, but that part's still not fine. And that means Achilles not fine. He also still has his passive in combination with his 2, which gives him insanely high free stats. So there, combat dodge, increased cooldown from 10 seconds to 12 seconds. Still super short. If you build cooldown reduction, you can still get that down quite drastically. And you can also still double dash anyway, so you still needs a ton of damage too. What? Yeah, you know, what to say? All right, yeah, no, we all want Achilles in every casual. Please, it's super enjoyable. Like, that's how the game's fun. Moving on. Ao Kuang. Ao Kuang had immunity frames during his ultimate, or rather untoggleable frames. Those are removed because they're apparently confusing. Well, Sobek and Naja have the same. Apparently with Ao Kuang it's a problem. I guess it's just, you know, a rank thing. People are like, oh no, Ao Kuang, no, he's OP. He's damage immune, no, whatever. I don't know. I guess, you know, fair enough. All right. Apollo, not even know what to say there. Damage increase, base damage increase on so beautiful from 70 to 290 to 80 to 320. That's fair. I haven't seen Apollo in so long, and as much as I don't want to see him, that's fair. That's a fair buff. Kronos. Kronos has struggled as a magical carry, especially with the changes to mage items that have been happening. We're bringing up his basic attack power to a level never before seen by mages. This will better enable him to box against hunters early and solidify his role as a basic attacking mage. Basic attack power increased from 35 to 40. Time Lord increased magical power per stack from 3 to 5. 75 to 125 at 50 minutes. I mean, Kronos was pretty weak before. I'll give him that. But at the same time, that's a lot of free power. That's a lot of free power for one passive. Probably took some inspiration from Achilles or something. That is a lot of free power, just saying, you know. And games go longer generally, so yeah. But yeah, well, you know, I didn't see many Crony lately, so it's alright. Fafnir. We are partially reverting a previous adjustment for Fafnir. In 5.1, we adjusted the amount of control he brought to the table while leaving his ability to survive intact. From the pro feedback we received, it did not have the desired impact. The control nerf made him difficult to use in the early and mid game, while his survivability late was still an issue. We are bringing back some of the control from Curse Strength as he ranks the ability up while reducing the healing Fafnir receives, especially in later stages of the game. Curse Strength. Increased stun from 1 to 1.4 seconds. Course, decreased self-healing from 50 to 150 to 50 to 130. Decreased self-healing scaling from 40% to 30% of your magical power. The Fafin doesn't build power most of the time, so that doesn't really do much, you know, unless you do like the wonky soul gem build at the moment. Then he definitely benefits from having Cursed Strength back up. The general consensus among the pros that I heard was more that the slow should be not as heavy, the AoE slow around it, because that's the big control part. In terms of survivability, 20 healing is not going to be a big deal. The parts that are going to be a big deal is his 3, meaning he has 2 leaps because of his dragon form, and his entire damage immunity when turning into a dragon. Those are the reasons why he is so survivable, not 20 healing. So, I guess, you know, or we could just speed up his transformation and make him not damage immune and make him more of a counterplayable character. Just me? Yeah, okay. Alright, cool. Haobo, starting since Season 5, Haobo has surged in popularity and performance. No surprise here. His ability to rotate and aggress quickly with Atlas of the Yellow River and damage heavily with his Water Spout and Water Cannon combo. We are bringing down how often he can use his Atlas to give more chances to catch out Haobo and his team, reducing the damage his primary form of crowd control can deal. Water Spout decreased magical power scaling from 85 to 75%. Haobo does not kill you with the Water Spout. If you get killed by the Water Spout, you're doing something wrong. Haobo kills you with the 1 and the ultimate that follow. He knocks you up, you can't do anything, he destroys you. Or he blinks and ults you right away. Yeah. Nerfing Water Spout takes away a bit of damage, but does it do much against him? No, it's 10% scaling. Atlas of the Yellow River, increased cooldown from 10 to 12 seconds. That, I think, is a reasonable change. Just, you know, taking away from that rotation speed. Though, if an Haobo really spams this early on to rotate around, he will also have problems with his mana. So I don't see that often, but I can see why this was done. Kumbarkana. I don't even need to read this because, you know, Kumbarkana, she's not that good at the moment. Struggles with CC and that kind of stuff. So, throwback, decreased cooldown from 15 to 13 seconds. Gorgy Strike, increased base damage from 70 to 270 to 90 to 290. It's not base damage that he needed. It's a quicker CC. It's Gorgy Strike with less wind-up. Maybe even as 3 with less wind-up because it's still slower than Apollo or whatever, but damage is not what you want to put on him if you want to put him into solo maybe, but not if you want to put him in spot. Nemesis. Many assassins are building Blink and Heartseeker, and few work as well with those items as Nemesis. Both that relic and that item are getting nerfs this patch, but we still anticipate Nemesis would be a top performer, so we're adjusting slightly more to the god directly. Divine Judgment can swing, fights very heavy, very quickly, and cannot miss the target, so its cooldown is being increased. We're also reducing the amount of time she is buffed from using this ability. Decreased Nemesis self buff duration from 8 seconds to 5 seconds, which I think is pretty big, like in many fights, though the big part of the ability is still the damage, not the steal. But increased cooldown from 90 to 70 seconds to 90 seconds at all ranks. That's huge. That, I think, is very impactful because she is to some degree, with the new builds, an old bot again. When you don't have that old, your impact is much lower. I would say this is a good nerf. Quite a heavy nerf, even though it may not sound like it. Wow. This one is crazy. Noah has some clunkiness within her kit that limited her ability to succeed. In this patch, we want to adjust these core issues and continue to watch her performance closely, especially because she benefits from some of the new mage items. Soul Gem. Mysterious Fog will now re-stealth Noah much more quickly, allowing her to be more evasive with this ability. Her clay soldiers will move faster, helping their reliability while chasing. Fire shots will now pass over player deployables, giving Noah the ability to escape Odin's Ring of Spears or similar abilities. Additionally, she is having a few mana cost adjustments to help her early game mana consumption to better match other mages. While these are all buffs, they are mostly small quality of life adjustments. The only damage-oriented buff coming this patch is 10% additional scaling on Shining Metal. This will help Shining Metal have more impact, even without the combo with Clay Soldiers. Alright, so let's go. Mysterious Fog. Decreased mana cost from 70 to 90 to 60 to 80. Decreased the time that Nuwa is revealed in the fog from 3 seconds to 1 second. That, I think, is definitely going to have its impacts here and there, you know, just disappearing a lot faster again, being able to juke with that fog if you're good, if you're aware of that. So, pretty neat. You can, I think if you're like stunned on one end of the fog, you will still be stealth if you're at the other end at the end of it, depending on the stun. So, that's pretty cool. Clay Soldiers increased the base movement speed of the soldiers from 350 to 365, catching up a little bit more with certain guards early in the game. Okay, no one's going to cry about that one. Shining Metal decreased mana cost from 60 to 50. Pretty impactful, I think, because you're going to use that a lot to clear anyways. Increased magical power scaling from 65 to 75. Ouch. Using that 2 times in a team fight will not have 20% more scaling now. That's decent. Fire shots can pass through player-made deployables while lifting off. Also decent. Just the fact that you can avoid a lot more that you couldn't before because she was just so easily walled off. Overall, Nuwa gets a lot of buff this patch. I know that most of them aren't damaged, but I think they're still impactful in how she plays. And with recent changes, I'm expecting to see more Nuwa. And I'm happy to see more Nuwa because Nuwa was so underplayed and it's just so... Yeah, you know, everyone else comes online around, you know, the time they have their ultimate. Nuwa's rank 1 ultimate is a maximum like reveal, and you have to have all that power stacked up to really have an impact in most situations. So changing that, I think it's a good choice. Raw. Make it simple. Just gonna read the movement speed buff here from 355 to 360, meaning he's even faster when he uses his abilities. Celestial Beam increased magical power scaling from 80 to 90%. So Ra was just a little bit underperforming, and he's got a little bit of a buff. And I can honestly understand that. It's not been like a favorite mage as of late, and, you know, give him a little bit here and there. It's kind of like the Vulcan buff. It's nothing crazy, but yeah. He's going to be fast. That's relevant. Thoth. Thoth is in a unique position with the current mage itemization. Yes, indeed. The bonus penetration from his passive lets him ignore the fact that mage penetration item choices have been limited. With that bonus penetration and the high scaling from his abilities shot through the glyph of pain, he becomes a powerhouse in the late stages of the game. Skilled those players who play him especially safely and don't miss many abilities can control teamfights and poke out enemies constantly, make him difficult to counter. We are bringing down his top end potential by lowering the amount of penetration his passive provides and decreasing the bonus magical power scaling from Glyph of Pain. Dead Reckoning. Decrease magical penetration per stack from 4 to 3, changes from total 20 to 15. 5 pen. Yeah. Not gonna drastically change his late game because in late game everyone has some defense. It's a thing, you know. It's a start. Those nerfs are welcomed anyways. Glyph of Pain. Decreased magical power scaling bonus on both the ability and the basic attack trigger from 10% to 5%. Just a description to better describe Charles' ability, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. Right. I think Thoth needs more than that. I think Thoth just needs a straight up nerf to his 1. Just primary damage. Not on early ranks, not for clear purposes, but on later ranks. I think scaling is what should be tackled here because what he can put out in late game from like such a far distance makes it super easy for him to siege and makes it relatively easy for him to defend a siege as well without putting himself in any danger at all. And that shouldn't be the case. He's kind of in the same place as Hachiman in that context, but the difference is that Hachiman doesn't have that long range damage unless he invests into crit, which is often not the only favorable choice at the moment, whereas with Thoth, you just want to go power and maybe some survivability along with that. Some of the special items for mages that work in that favor. And with all these power buffs, this patch is just, you know, put a Soul Reaver on him. You know, you gotta even deal more damage. Like you get 20 more power and lose 5 pen. Yeah, on the scaling from the glyph, but you'll be fine. You can build Shaman's Ring and you probably still do more damage than the last patch with him. So really these nerfs don't really matter. All I'm saying. And that's it. Or not really. Because it's March now. we are quite a while into the season. And there are some things that we were promised that we haven't seen anything of. The one that I can kind of look past, because it's really not that important, is UI changes. I would love to see a new UI. I think the one that we have is outdated, and I'd love to have some unique things like a health HUD. But, you know, that's just would be nice to have. What's not so nice to have is the current state of all the matches. And we were promised matchmaking improvements over the split, basically. And we were told there was already an improvement in queue times. Now queues are shorter, but our match is better. Not even remotely close. There are no restrictions for 5-man parties to queue against anyone. You can so easily get a 5-man queue against a 3-man, 2-man pre-made. There are barely any restrictions on elo difference between players. We have no option for like roll calls that would facilitate better matchmaking. We have so many levers and so many trolls at the moment who don't seem to face any repercussions, which should just be completely dumpstered out of the matchmaking system so we can actually have solid matches. And I literally said it on Twitter, like I couldn't care less about this patch. I couldn't even bring myself to watch the patch notes, because who cares about balance changes when you won't have a fun or fair match anyways? Who cares if the guards are a little more balanced when you're playing just matches that shouldn't be happening all the time? Is when you're going like, what? You're going like 12-4 and have like double the player damage of your teammates on a tank and with a bruiser build. Like, why would I care about 5% scaling on Thoth? That's not what's important for Smite to move forward. And that's not what's going to keep players in the game. And this is very, very clearly becoming a problem this season. And obviously, this is a topic that especially bothered me today, because otherwise I wouldn't be speaking about this like this. But this is also one of the opportunities where I can speak about this in the context of other things. Smite needs steps to make the game experience, and I'm not talking about the balance around the game, but the in-game experience when you play it with actual other players better. Because at this rate, we're going to find more joy in bot games soon than we are in actual matches. And it shouldn't come to that. And those are the closing words on this. Not Sunday, but Wednesday. Now Thursday, actually. And with that, thank you guys very much for watching. If you're new to the channel, feel free to click the sub button. If you're new to the channel or to the channel, feel free to click the bell. There's been some issues with the notifications lately where people don't get notified of my videos. So if you click the bell, it would help me out. It would be much appreciated. See you for the next one tomorrow. Sea of Thieves video coming soon. DukeSloth out.